Hello, hello. Good afternoon, family. Thanks for checking out today's video. If you are new here, my name is Jonathan, and I created this channel as a way to record my progress as I work towards my goal of losing 300 pounds. The rain just started picking up here, so it might be a little loud, or I'm not sure if you guys can even hear me here. So I'm gonna try. Yep, you can hear, and it's actually pretty close here. So hello, hello, good afternoon, family. Thanks for checking out today's video. If you're new here, my name is Jonathan, and I created this channel as a way to record my progress as I work towards my goal of losing 300 pounds. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button down below. Also, make sure you click on the bell icon so you get alerted when I go live or post new videos. And make sure you give this Father's Day live stream a big thumbs up on the hit that like button as well. See if we can't get some people in here on the live stream. Let me know how the audio is coming through. Are you able to hear me? Is the rain pouring on the top of the roof here very loud? Let me know how it's going for you guys. But I thought I would try doing something new. I'm live streaming from home. Normally I live stream from work, but I got messing with my camera and my phone, and I was trying to see if I would be able to figure out how to live stream from my phone. So I'm not even using a computer. I have my phone, I have a camera here, and then I'm actually looking at the live chat on an old phone that is hooked up to my home Wi-Fi. But it does seem to be working so far. It seems to be working really well here. Few people checking in. Jay saying happy Father's Day. Carrie checking in from the other room. Jay says that there is rain in Pittsburgh tomorrow. It must be the rain that we're getting here now is headed your way. I kind of got caught in the rain here today. I'll talk about that in a minute as well. Jay says that Chef AJ is live now as well. Well, that's great, Chef AJ. I'm sure she has a wonderful guest on there, and they are talking about the benefits of eating a whole food plant-based salt, oil, sugar. At least talking about the benefits of eating a whole food plant-based diet. Most of her guests, I believe, are at least no oil. So that's great. Jay says hi on the room. Hi to Carrie. And Carrie says that it's good. The rain is just the background white noise. Yes, there's a little bit of white noise in the background. And Carrie says hi there. Rebecca, Tyler, I don't know if I mentioned, Rebecca says happy Father's Day. Happy Rebecca. Hope you're having a great day today. Pretty Girl's mom checking in. Hello, hello. Hopefully everything's going great for you guys today. I don't really have anything in particular that I want to talk about or that I want to go over. I am just kind of testing out the system here. The camera made it seem like it was going to be as simple as hitting a few buttons and all of a sudden I would be able to go live. And it was not that easy. It took me a few attempts. I was not able to change the thumbnail. So the thumbnail for this video is actually the same thumbnail as I used on my Friday live stream. So I'll have to figure out how to switch that after the fact or get something figured out there. Pretty Girl's mom says, hey everyone, nice to see John today. Absolutely. Jay's asking, what did I have for my Father's Day brunch? Well, Father's Day brunch, I suppose I did just eat a little bit ago. I had some oatmeal and broccoli. It probably wasn't until 11:30 or so that I even, yeah, it was probably 11:30 that I was eating. At 11:30, 11:45, that I had broccoli. I had my broccoli and I had my oats, combination of rolled oats and steel cut oats with mushrooms, onions, and spinach. So that's what I had for breakfast today. We'll probably have potatoes and broccoli for lunch. We are doing a family get together this afternoon. I don't know what we'll have. Maybe more potatoes that we'll take to that. Carrie says you're going to be shocked. Yes, you'll be shocked at what I had for Father's Day brunch. Jay says, good, you're skipping breakfast now. You're losing more weight. Oh, I haven't. My breakfast hasn't been before 10 a.m. for a year at this point. I mean, if I occasionally, I might have had an earlier breakfast yesterday just because I was up and at home. But the way our schedule works out is that I usually don't eat my first meal till after 10 a.m. Sometimes it's as late as 1 p.m. that I actually eat my first meal of the day. So I don't eat like first thing in the morning. It's usually a couple hours after I've been up and working that I sit down and eat breakfast. Carrie says, we got some potatoes ready in the Instapot. I could just go grab potatoes and eat lunch with you guys, I suppose. Rebecca asked, how were the purple potatoes? We tried some purple potatoes. They were decent. They had like a good texture, and I could definitely see the brownie texture to them, but I don't think that they were skinny enough. Jay had mentioned that the skinny purple potatoes and the ones we had were kind of fat, and I actually went and picked up a couple the other day. Maybe I'll go grab them. I'll be right back. And I'll show you the purple potatoes I bought the other day from the store. Hold on. All right, I'm back. Sorry. Jay says the fatty purples are more starchy. Yeah, so we had a few purple potatoes in our pantry, I guess, after we talked about this. It must have been Friday's live stream we talked about this. And on my way home, I had to stop and pick up a red onion and a couple white onions for recipes this weekend. And I was at the Natural Grocers, and they had some purple potatoes there, but they were much skinnier than the ones we had. And I know that Jay had said something about the skinny purple potatoes. And so I picked up these. It says Frida Stokes. I don't know, but these are much skinnier. So we're going to have to try these in the air fryer, see how they come out. And I'll let you guys know how they turn out. But I'm looking forward to giving them a shot here. Let's see. Jay says, you look like you lost more weight. I lost the 4 pounds this week. It seems to go in kind of waves. I'm hoping to be down another pound or 2 this next week. But it also might be the camera, too. This camera might be a little bit more slimming, or maybe the way I'm leaning into it versus how I normally sit. But it is I'm not gaining weight. So and then Carrie says I did, or Pretty Girl's mom actually both of you said that I shaved. Yes, I did shave. That was kind of an interesting thing I had yesterday. Carrie, for my birthday, actually bought me a gift of getting some professional headshot or professional photography done. And so yesterday afternoon, I met with a photographer, and we took a few different photos. I think I did 4 or so different kind of poses, or sat kind of in a few different ways. And the photographer took a bunch of photos of me yesterday. So I'm going to have some new professional photos, or some professional headshots that I'm going to be able to use on my social media stuff. I have some different things coming up. Some people want me to write an article about my weight loss journey so far, so I'll have those photos to use on that. So that was kind of a fun experience to do yesterday. It's something that over the years I've had to do different photographs for Carrie, mostly, like when we got engaged, and then when we got married, and then when our oldest son was very young, we went and got photos, and then when our two oldest, were a few years old, we got professional photos done again, and then we had somebody come. My wife likes to take professional photos every few years, just so we have those memories. And I've always lamented, if that's the right word, or if I always cringed at the idea of having my photo taken. And in fact, in one of the family photos, I just look horrible. I think it might even be on my fridge. Maybe Carrie can have one of the kids run it to me if she's listening to this live stream. I don't want to keep standing up and running back into my house to grab stuff and then come back out. But there's we have some photographers come to our house, take photos of our kids, and they're like, "Oh, do you guys want to get in them too?" And I wasn't really planning on getting in the photos, so there's a few photos of me when I'm over 400 pounds with the kids, and I feel like I just look like a sweaty mess. And so I've always wanted to avoid having my photo taken. I think that's pretty common for people that are overweight like I was. You don't really want to see photos of yourself. I barely looked in the mirror, let alone looking at photos of myself. So to actually, you said you couldn't find it? Oh, okay. She's digging around for that photo. Maybe she'll be able to find it. Okay, it's not in there. I thought it was on our fridge, but I'm not sure where it is. I'm sure I've seen it on social medias or something. I'll try to pull it up at some point, or share it on live stream sometime. Carrie says it could be that natural light making me look extra nice. It's not very shiny. It's not very bright and sunshiny out today. It is kind of gloomy. I got a little story for that as well. Jay here says that the Whole Food Market has the skinny ones. Yeah, I don't know. Are these skinny enough, I guess? Is that kind of what you're talking about? Or is there something different? Or should I be looking for something different? Carrie says she has it on one of our websites. Okay. Let's see. So, AJ Vintage, I don't know if I saw your comment there, but hey, how are you doing? I hope everything's going great. Says I'm looking great. Thank you, AJ Vintage. I really appreciate it. And then you said Happy Father's Day. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, it has been a pretty great day so far. The kids have not been terrorizing me too much. I've had a pretty relaxing morning. It could have been more relaxing, I suppose. I'll talk about that. But I got to sleep in a little bit, which was really nice. And I got an IOU for my Father's Day present since Amazon, or since the company that it was ordered from was slow on the delivery. but I am going to be getting my Father's Day gift here in the next few days, so I'm excited. And it's just going to be an electric razor. So it's something that if you followed me for a while, you kind of know this, but I had a beard for a very long time. From the time I could essentially grow a beard, I had a beard. So from 18 years old or 20 years old on, I always had some sort of facial hair. I suppose when I was really young, it was more of like a goatee, but then as I got older, I started growing a full beard. And so from the time I was 18 years old until I was 40 years old, I guess it is, or 41 now, I always had a beard. I barely ever shaved. If I ever did shave, it was like with a hair trimmer that had like a cutting guard on it, and I would never shave all the way down to my face. And so in the past couple months, I decided to shave all the way down to my face, and I bought a nice kind of straight razor that I've been using, and I really enjoy it. How close it does get and how well it does shave, but I just need something that's kind of quick sometimes, and so getting an electric razor is going to help me out a lot with that. And I also get nervous when I shave because I don't have a lot of experience with shaving. Even though I'm 41 years old, I've only shaven my face. I've only had to shave my face a few times, or now I've shaved my face more in the past 2 months than I did in the previous 20 years. So I'm getting better at it, but having an electric razor will make that work out a little bit better. And then Jay says that we should wrap those purple potatoes in foil to help roast moist. And then maybe 15 inches on each side. Jay says, no more old man beards. Jonathan looks very young now. I do feel like I look a little bit younger without the beard. But again, I never really saw my face. I had always had something going on, always had a beard going on. Karen says, a great look on you, so young looking. Well, thank you guys. I really appreciate it. I'm going to have to start using this camera and this angle more often because I'm getting lots of compliments on my appearance here today. So that's great. 41 going on 14. Yeah, well, you know what's funny is I'm 41 going on the weight that I weighed when I was 14 years old. Like when I was 14 years old, I was heavier than 225 pounds, which is just crazy to think of how heavy I was at that age. But yeah, I'm lighter now than I was when I was 17. When I was 14, it was probably the year I got down to 225 pounds. So I'm not quite there, but by the time I get done with this weight loss, I'll be lighter than I was when I was 14. And I'll probably be able to get around better than I was when I was 14, which is crazy because I would never think that I would have the same ability to do stuff as I did when I was 20. But I easily have the ability to do the things that I was doing when I was 20 now, just by losing the weight. Being probably 100 pounds lighter now than I was when I was in my 20s is incredible, the difference it's made in my life and being able to move around and get things done. So it's pretty awesome, and I'm pretty happy to be on this trip that I'm on. So Jay says, keep going, we'll help you get there. You know what? So keep going reminds me of my activity for this morning here. I'm going to try not to, I don't know, let me know if the audio is screwed up by me leaning in and out or how it's going. I got somebody sneaking in here trying to say hi. One of my kids. But yeah, if the audio is getting thrown off by me leaning in and out or whatever, let me know. But you said keep going on. So something that we've been doing for the past couple weeks is we've been getting ready for a family reunion that we do with Carrie's family every year, where we go on a float trip. We go down to a place where they drop us off upriver, and we get in canoes, kayaks, or rafts, depending on what suits your needs, and you float down the river. It's like a 4-mile float trip, 5-mile float trip down the river. Takes half a day to most of a day to float down, depending on if you're on a kayak or canoe, or if you're on a raft, it's much slower. So anyways, we've been trying to get ready for this trip the last couple weeks, and something new that we are doing this year is we are bringing our own inflatable kayak so that we can bring our dog with us on the trip and kind of not have any issues with having our dog on their equipment. They don't like to have dogs in their rafts, and I don't want to have to deal with a full canoe by myself trying to paddle it with the dog. And so we ended up getting an inflatable kayak that is it's about 12 feet in length, and it fits it's a neat kind of thing. It's called a Sea Eagle. If you look into kayaks, it's and it's just an inflatable. It kind of fits in a bag, which is really nice, so we don't have to have a huge kayak that we're traveling with, and then we can just inflate it when we get there. So anyways, in order to make that trip as painless as possible, something that I've needed to do is train my dog to be comfortable inside of this canoe raft. I got some of my crazy kids that are pounding on the door there. I think they finally figured out what I'm doing in here. And so I've been needing to train my dog. And so I thought, you know what, this morning would be a great opportunity to take the kayak out, just kind of be out. There's a small lake near us that people go up and fish. And I grabbed the dog, the kayak, went up to the lake, got everything together, got in the water, did a little bit of comfortability training with my dog, just getting it used to the raft itself, and then the raft on the water. And then we kind of just went out and floated around in the water for a while, and it was nice and relaxing. But it got a bit windy, and so I was trying to practice, maneuvering the kayak with the dog in the kayak and different things, just getting her used to it, and me getting used to working the kayak with her in there. And I kind of got into the lake, let's say like on the east side of the lake, and we floated around, and the wind kind of pushed us over to the west side of the lake. And I kind of was floating around with her. We were on the water for, half hour, 40 minutes. And I kind of noticed that the weather was starting to turn a little bit. It was starting to get a little bit darker out. The sky was getting a little darker. And so I was like, you know what, I should probably start heading back towards the dock where I had brought her in, or where we had gotten in the water at. And I started paddling back towards the dock, and that wind hit my face, and I kept paddling and kept paddling and kept paddling, and it felt like I was going nowhere. I was was paddling, and there was a few spots where there's trees sticking up out of the water, and I was like, oh, good, that's those trees that's by the dock. And I kind of am paddling, and I finally get to those trees, and as I'm passing those trees, I look up, and I see that there's more trees in the water, and it was actually the trees that were up ahead of me that were the ones that I was thinking these were. And so I was paddling. My right hand started to fall asleep, or it started to go numb, I think, just from gripping it so hard. And it's something that I haven't, kayaking is not something that I do or have done much of. So my hand was getting tired. And so every now and then I had to kind of take a break and hope that the wind didn't push me back too much, back towards the other side of the lake. And so, yeah, I just kept paddling. And eventually I got close to the dock. And I kind of hung out by the dock for a couple minutes just to kind of do some more floating around with her in the boat. And then kind of at the same time as I decided to bring the boat in, kind of the rain started to sprinkle. I was lucky enough that I was able to get the kayak out of the water, get her into my truck, get it deflated. I didn't wrap it up, but I got it deflated, threw it in the bed of my truck so that I could just drive home. And I mean, it was already wet. It's been getting rained on in the bed of my truck since I got home. Now that the rain is let up, it looks like the sun might poke out here. I'll go and grab the kayak and kind of open it up and let it dry out. But yes, just keep going. And it's kind of the way it is with the diet, you know. It feels like you're paddling your canoe upstream with a headwind, trying to get to your goal, and it seems like you're never going to make it, but eventually you will make it. You just got to keep paddling. You got to keep going, because I mean, just like out in the water, what was my alternative? You know, to just let the wind blow me all the way across the lake until I hit the shore, and then carry the kayak all the way around the lake. You know, like that wasn't going to happen. So and so, yeah, I just plugged away at it and was able to get in and get done. So let's see here. Karen says, isn't it so great you're able to do all these things more comfortably? I look to the future for some of those activities at a lighter weight. Yeah, absolutely. Like going out and doing the kayaking. This wouldn't have been even a consideration of something that I would have done. And I'm kind of at the top end of where I think I would be comfortable to doing what I'm doing. If I was 300 pounds or if I was 320 pounds, I don't know that I would be that comfortable getting on this kayak and float, you know, and moving it around. And so even just that 60 pounds difference between this summer and last summer is definitely noticeable. And I'm very happy with all of the new things that I'm able to do. And the fact that I was able to just kind of pick up and go and, you know, exert the effort to get that kayak ready, get the dog ready, get in the water, go out, do the paddling around, and just having that kind of, you know, the experience I never would have had if I wouldn't have lost this weight. So it's amazing being able to do these things and to be comfortable, you know, because even at 60 pounds heavier, I might have looked sillier in the boat than I did. And I might look silly in the boat at 260 pounds. I don't know. But it makes me think of a Chris Farley movie where it's this, he's in a boat. He's a big fat guy in this little boat, and some people are making fun of him from the shoreline. And it makes me think of that when I'm on there. Plants Only Muncher checking in. Hello, Plants Only Muncher. I hope you're doing great. I put that book you recommended. I think you were the one that recommended The Walking with Petey. I put that book on my my wish list for Audible. So as soon as I get an Audible credit, I'm gonna download that and check out that book. Let's see here. AJ says that she loves Chris Farley. Yeah, he was, a funny guy that ran into some health issues. He had a lot of drug use that caused his issues. But, it's amazing. You wonder what a better diet would have done for so many of these people. So, but yes, Chris Farley. And really, the thing Chris Farley did, I suppose, for me was he made being fat okay. He was this big, flamboyant, overweight person that was, self-deprecating, that would make fun of himself and that would just seem like he was always having fun. And I feel like in some ways I tried copying some of that in the way I talk and the way I interact with people, or trying to be the funny guy in the room was easier than, or better than being the fat guy in the room. So I always tried being the funny guy. AJ says that the Chippendale skit with Chris and Patrick Swayze was hysterical. Yeah, I've watched lots of the different skits with Chris Farley. I used to be a big fan of his movies. Tommy Boy was a movie that I had seen quite a few times. Black Sheep was another movie that he made. There were some great skits with him and some great movies with him. But yeah, I think about that when I'm out on the boat. If I look like that big fat guy that's sinking one half of the boat while the other half of it's sitting straight up out of the water. And I kind of had that experience when I was in high school. I went canoeing for a school trip that we did, and I was the 280 pound guy on the boat, and the person riding with me was 180 pounds soaking wet. And so the back end of the canoe was sinking in the water and the front end of the canoe was sticking up out of the water. But yeah, I had a great time outside of the rain coming in and having to deal with the weather. It worked out great though. The timing was good and it was not so bad as far as the rain. I noticed the dark clouds coming in, and so I started kind of chugging along to try to get back to the dock. But yeah, there was a couple times where I was kind of frustrated. Yes, the rain is back. I imagine that you can hear that. If it's too much, I can get off of here. It's the reason why you hear it though is because I'm in my Four Seasons room, and the roof in this room is not like the rest of my house. This is like an RV or a camper kind of ceiling, or it's kind of have that same audio kind of. Having a regular pitched roof is gonna muffle out the sounds. Yeah, Carrie says it's always extra loud in this room. I do like it though. Like AJ Vintage says that the rain sounds are so relaxing. Yes, it is relaxing. And then it's gonna let up, and then there's a tree that kind of hangs over that the water will drip off of that. Yeah, Carrie says that there's no attic in this room that buffers the sound. Yes. It's not. I guess it could be aluminum. I don't know what it is. I don't think it's like a metal roof. I don't know how to explain it, but It could be aluminum. I don't know. It's pretty light material. I can stand on it though. Right. I couldn't stand on it when I was 500 pounds, or I was scared to stand on it when I was 500 pounds. But at 260, I've stood on it. Or I guess I was 300, but it holds the weight. So, but yeah, it's just kind of this is like an add-on to the house. This used to be a deck, I think, that they turned into a Four Seasons room. So it's kind of a low-pitched roof ahead of me here. You can kind of see the white roof. Pretty Girl's mom says that the aluminum roofs are pretty sturdy. Okay, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it was aluminum. It feels light enough that it could be that. Like, yeah. So yeah, the big things that I wanted to talk about, I suppose, were the big things I had to talk. Whatever was the photography that I did. That was a lot of fun. Or getting my photograph taken. I didn't do the photography. I was the subject of the photography. Little weird doing that. I felt like I had a pretty fake smile the whole time, so hopefully it doesn't come across as a fake smile, or at least she got a few good photos in when she was taking the photos. And then today, yeah, getting out and getting on the kayak, getting some physical activity in. I'm curious if I'm going to feel it in my kind of back muscles or in my arms at all, doing that, the paddling, and just trying to get back so I didn't get struck by lightning or get stuck out in the lake all day. Thankfully, I was able to get there. Oh, Carrie, yes, we went to, Carrie's reminding me, yesterday we went to the Plant Pure Nation potluck. Our local pod had a potluck yesterday. And so we, yes, AJ's asking, Carrie was calling it a plant luck in the chat here, and AJ Vintage is asking, is that like a potluck? Yes, it is like a potluck, but everybody just brings plants to eat. And so we had gone to the meetup last month, and so we decided to go again this month. This time it was at a picnic. Took the family. We actually brought the dog with us as well, and it was really fun. It was nice to get out, see people that are eating this way. That's the biggest thing that I really get from going to a thing like that, is just seeing other people in the community that are eating this way. We're not the only crazy people out there eating this way. I'm messing with my camera. Sorry, guys. But we're not alone. You know, it feels kind of lonely sometimes eating this way, thinking that we're the only ones that that seem to. It's such a hard to say that we're the only ones that seem to care. I mean, so many people care about what they eat, but I just don't see people taking the steps like we're taking. You know, like I just don't think that I could be eating a healthier diet than I possibly am eating. And I don't know that there's a diet out there that's healthier than eating a whole food, plant-based, salt, oil, sugar-free diet. What's going on, Carrie?
Hey, we're running to the store.
You're running to the store? Okay. So you're in the frame, you know. They can see you. You're way in the back corner. Way back in the back. Are you taking them all then? Okay. You taking all the kids? Okay. All right. All right. Bye. Jasmine, my dog's in here. All right. So, Jazzy Jazz, up here? Huh? Ho ho ho. There's Jasmine, my monster dog. All right. The plant luck yesterday. Was it FF and oil free? It was oil free. What's FF? I'm not sure what you mean by FF. But so it is the Plant Pure Nation podcast. And they do promote eating a whole food plant-based diet, and they promote eating a salt, oil, sugar-free diet. Now, as far as what people were bringing to the potluck, they had suggested that you bring whole food plant-based, salt, oil, sugar-free, but oil is the big thing that they didn't want in any of the dishes. So there were a few dishes that probably had some salt in them. I did not eat as much at the potluck this last week as I did the previous time. I really kind of, I felt like just that little bit of, is it fat free? Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's oil free. It's high carb, low fat. It's, Plant Pure Nation, is, one of those guys. Is it Campbell's son, or one of those guys that runs that, or that started that kind of program? But yeah, it was lots of low fat foods. I don't think I have any, I want to mess with my phone here, but I'm really worried that if I mess with my phone, it's going to screw something up. So I'm not going to mess with my phone to see if I took any photos of the different recipes. But they had a couple different things. They had a couple different burger patties there yesterday. And the kids really liked them. One of them was, there was like lentils. There might have even been avocado in it. And all kinds of stuff. It reminded me a lot of the plant-based Gabriel's 3-2-1 burgers as far as the look and the composition of them. But our kids really enjoyed them, which is awesome. And that's something that, one of the reasons why we want to go to these events with our kids is to show them that, their parents aren't the only crazy people in the entire world, that there's other people that eat this way, because sometimes I think they might think that we are just the only crazy ones. But we also want to try these new foods. Like if we wouldn't have gone to the potluck yesterday and our kids tried those hamburgers, we wouldn't have known that they liked that type of bean burger or whatever you want to call it. But now that we went, we know that. Carrie took a photo of the recipe so she can make that recipe for our kids. Now, I do wonder a little bit if they liked the hamburger they were eating or if they liked the Dave's Killer Bread that the hamburger was on. Because I've never had Dave's Killer Bread, but I know my kids really like it. And they had the Dave's Killer, they were like hamburger buns, so they looked really fluffy and delicious, but I didn't try them. Jay here says, good, you have to protect your weight loss. You'd be leery of food events. Yeah, and I just kind of, Carrie had brought a mango salsa with us that we've had in the past. It's a, you take brown rice and you put some black beans in it, and then you put this mango salsa on it. And that's what I ended up having for lunch. I really enjoyed it. It was a great, she did a great job putting together the salsa. And so that's what I ended up eating for my my lunch yesterday. And I enjoyed it. There was some desserts there that the kids really liked. There was a strawberry dessert that they had. Carrie here says, oh, there was beets inside of those. It was a beet burger. That's right. Yeah, they were beet burgers. Because our kids, when we told them they were beet burgers, they're like, I don't know. But they did like it. So, yes, it was a beet burger. And Carrie says here that, yeah, it's a great way to find new recipes that the kids might enjoy. And if they tried something and they didn't like it, I really didn't feel guilty, where when Carrie makes a full meal at home and then they don't eat it, then we got a whole bunch of leftovers that they didn't eat. Jay says, mango salsa, yummy. Yes, it was awesome. And so that's what I ended up having for my lunch yesterday. And then I just ended up having potatoes and broccoli for dinner last night. And then we had some red lentil chili that we had the other day. I'll probably show a bunch of these photos on the live stream that I do tomorrow. Let's see. Jay says, you think people aren't worried about calorie density? They cook with lots of nuts, seeds, avocados, and olives. Yeah, and not everybody has to be as worried about calorie density as I'm worried about calorie density right now. And so there's people that can get away with eating more of those nuts, seeds, avocados, and olives than I could, at least at this point, because I'm trying to lose weight. And so, not everybody there is. That's the other thing, too, is that not everybody who eats this way is concerned about their weight. There's a lot of health benefits to eating this way, and even if you were overweight, if you continued to eat a whole food plant-based diet without any added salt, oil, or sugar, you would still see health benefits. Even if you didn't lose any weight, you'd be healthier than if you were eating differently. So there's going to be variations in everybody's diet. That's why they have everybody bring their recipe, kind of put the recipe on the table, and then allow people to decide if that's what they want to have or not have. And so that's kind of what was neat about kind of going to that potluck. And we might, there might have been something, those beet burgers. I'm not sure if there was anything in them that was salt, oil, or sugar, but if there is, we can look at that recipe, modify it to fit our diet, and then try it that way. Let's see. Jay says that they're worried about calorie density. They're struggling with losing the last 5 pounds. Yeah, and I'm not sure how many pounds you've lost so far, but the last 5, it might just take a little bit of time for it to happen. But I believe that if you're continuing to eat a whole food plant-based diet, your body is going to be the weight it needs to be. And it's just a matter of time before it gets there. You've lost almost 50. That's awesome, Jay. That's really great that you've been able to lose almost 50 pounds now. And I'm sure it feels amazing. You got to think of all of the amazing differences that you felt losing the 45 pounds, and realize that maybe that's far greater than the difference that you might see in that last 5. But that's awesome that you've been able to lose almost 50 pounds already. So that's great. But yeah, and for me, it's going to be continuing to monitor what I eat and pay attention and take care of it, But another thing that I kind of was wanting to talk about on this Father's Day live stream was the fact that I'm here to be celebrating Father's Day, and that when I started this challenge, there was no guarantee that I was going to see the next day or the next week or the next month or the next holiday or the next Father's Day. And it's pretty crazy when I think about how close I was to something. One of the leading causes of death was knocking on my door at 39 years of age. Whether it was heart disease, stroke, whether it was diabetes causing issues, whether it was my sleep apnea. I worried about having a stroke because of my sleep apnea. I worried about just everything, the sores on my legs, what that was going to mean. There was so many things that were getting to the point where they were going to be too hard to keep dealing with. And I'm so happy that I made the change. And I made this change for my health. I made this change for my family. I made this change so I would be around to watch my kids grow up, to see them do all these achievements that I would imagine watching them. But in reality, it was just that. It was me imagining watching my kids graduate. It was me imagining watching my son get married and my daughters get married. And it was me imagining my wife getting old and me getting old with her, and us, imagining us holding our grandchildren and imagining us holding our great-grandchildren. And humans are an amazing creature that we have that imagination, and we can create those images in our head. But in reality is that all of those thoughts were just that. They were just imagined thoughts that I would have to make myself feel good in the moment. I would, because when you imagine holding your grandchild, or when you imagine your kid graduating from high school, your body releases chemicals. You feel those feelings, and it allows you to kind of mimic that experience. And I would do that. I would mimic that experience. But in the truth, it was never going to be a reality. I would pretend like it was going to happen, like I was going to be there to stand and watch them hand my kids diplomas, to see my kids walk down the aisle. I would imagine like I was going to see those things. But that was not reality. I was not really going to make it to 50 years old to watch my kids all go through high school and graduate. I wasn't going to make it to 55, to 60 years old, to see them go, become young adults or go to college or find their loves and start their own families. Like how many 500-pound 60-year-olds are there? Or how many people who were 500 pounds at 38 make it to 60? How many of those people make it to 70, 75, 80? Me and Carrie, we always talked about growing old together, about how we were going to be together. We were going to be married for 80 years, I mean, that would mean that I'd have to be over 100 years old. It was never going to happen the way I was eating, what I was doing to myself. I was constantly putting myself closer and closer to the grave for what? For that dopamine pleasure, for that food pleasure that you can get eating anything. You don't have to go to Taco Bell and McDonald's and Burger King to get that food that's going to make you feel good. You can make potatoes and broccoli at home, and it's going to make you feel just as good as that other crap food. It just takes time to figure it out and to learn how to eat it and to learn for it to get there. And yeah, I sit here on Father's Day thinking about how this is the third Father's Day since I started this challenge. And it could have been the third Father's Day that my kids didn't have a dad. If at any point somebody told my family or my friends that John had a heart attack, nobody would have been surprised. You know, everybody would have said, oh, he was so young, you know, he was only 38. But, I mean, he was so big. Did you see how much he used to eat? Yeah, you know, it was just a ticking time bomb. It was just waiting to happen. And nobody would have been surprised. Nobody would have thought that would have been out of the ordinary at this time. Like, in fact, if I would have made it to 50 or 60 without a heart attack, people would have lost their mind. They would have wanted to know what I was doing, because there's no way that you could be 500 pounds at 38, you know. What kind of trajectory is that putting me at by the time I get to 40, you know? By the time I get to 45, am I 550 pounds? Am I 600 pounds before I get to 50 years old? You know, and do I make it that, or does my heart give out before I have a chance to make it that far? So, Jay here says, no more heart disease. Your whole family died from it. Yeah, you know, and thankfully I don't have that kind of history in my family, but it doesn't mean that I couldn't have been the start of that, you know, because, you know, they say that diseases run in families, or that's kind of, they talk about the genetic kind of component to diseases. And there was a phrase or saying that I heard that it isn't so much that diseases run in families, it's that recipes run in families. And I think that that's something that I look at, what the blueprint that I was showing my kids on how to live life before I started this. And in fact, this is a comment I made to Carrie last night. I said to her, I wonder what our kids would look like right now, or what they would grow up to be if we hadn't changed our diet, if we hadn't changed their diet. Like, would our kids be the same weight they are now? Would they be lighter? Would they be heavier? Would they have more issues with their skin? You know, they're still very young, so they're not really to that age where you're going to have that stuff. But Karen here says, yeah, genetics might load the gun, but lifestyle pulls the trigger, you know. And that lifestyle that I was showing my kids, where I would come home with a bag of candy and a chicken sandwich from the gas station, or I'd be coming home with a couple pizzas or fast food, that was just setting them up to fail. And I'm so happy that I've changed that, or I've reversed that course. You know, I mean, there's no guarantee that my kids are going to grow up and move out of this house and eat like I eat, or not do, you know, make bad choices, you know, and I expect them to probably make a few bad choices. I mean, I made a few bad choices, but as long as they know that this is an option and that they can correct their bad choices by, you know, making these options, that's the best I can do for them. So, Jay here says that their mom made lots of Ukrainian food with lots of butter, cheese, oil, and grease. Yeah, you know, I mean, all those things are going to lead to heart disease. They're all going to lead to being overweight and causing you health issues. And that's just how they were taught. That's what they had access to. That's what they were told to eat. And you might have been able to get away with some of that stuff too before everything got so processed. You know, like, we just have access to so much more food, and it's so much higher processed than anybody in our history ever had access to. So, but yeah, I'm just happy that I have another Father's Day to celebrate, that I'm trucking towards my weight loss goals. You know, this time next year, I plan to be at my goal weight, and so this might be the last Father's Day that I have as an obese man. And that's pretty crazy to think that I'm getting away from that. Jay says that the food that your mom didn't eat that way in Ukraine, it was the standard American diet that she learned after moving here, after being here. AJ Vintage says, bless you for being healthy for yourself and your friends and family. Yes. It's, and it's something that I didn't talk about it all this week, and I wasn't going to, I don't know. Anyways, this past week was a hard week for our family, because we had to say goodbye to our oldest dog, and it's really hard not having those people and those friends around, and you end up missing them, and and it's just like with us, it was just a dog. I mean, not just a dog, it was our dog. It was dog I had for 16 years, and he it's just, it's tough. He was getting old. We knew he was going to pass away, and so we finally had to say goodbye to him, and it was he's missed, and that happens with us too. If I were to pass away, if I were to have a stroke or have something happen to me, I just couldn't imagine the hole that would put in a lot of people's lives, in my wife and my kids and my family and my friends. And it's that way for all of us, like we have to make better choices so that the ones around us don't have to suffer that loss, and make it that you have to say goodbye because of old age and not because of health choices. So, yeah. And yes, I get lots of sorry for your loss. Yeah, no, he was a great dog, and it was tough to deal with, but it was something that it was coming. It was tough. So, anyways, the rain's starting up and it's getting humid in here, and I think I hit an hour on the live stream here, so I think I am gonna hop off. So far it's been a great weekend. I got a chance to go out, get a little exercise in. We went to a potluck yesterday. I can't remember what I was talking about that we did Friday night, but whatever we did Friday night was real good. I can't remember what happened Friday night. It's been a busy weekend though. So thanks everybody. And I really appreciate you guys following along and checking out these videos and all of the support that you give me. It's great. AJ here says, you're always inspiring. Have a great rest of your Father's Day. Yeah, I might get a few minutes alone here before Carrie gets back with the kids, so we'll see how that works out. But yeah, I just feel amazing. I'm so happy that I'm here and I'm able to celebrate Father's Day. It's something that at 520 pounds was not guaranteed. So I'm very happy. But I'm gonna get out of here. Thank you guys so much. If you have not subscribed to my channel, get subscribed to my channel. Make sure you click on the bell icon so you get alerted when I go live or post new videos. And now that I was able to go live from home, Carrie's probably going to want me to do that more, or try to, we'll see. I might end up going live on the weekends, or maybe I can do a live stream where I'm videoing me doing something else. But it's pretty cool that I'm able to hook this camera up to my phone and go live. So we might have to do that more. Awesome. Thank you guys so much for being here. If you have not started your diet yet, get started right now. There is nothing coming up that's more important than your health or your overall well-being. There's nobody that reaches their goals, looks back, and wishes they would have waited. So get started right now, guys. I will see you tomorrow. Now I got to figure out what buttons to hit to turn this off. I think that was it. Goodbye.